included the idea of several different ethnic races. The series marshals the data he had collected as evidence to prove his underlying humanistic thesis that people were one large family without racial boundaries. Self-trained and self-published, Rogers and his works were immensely popular, influential during his day, even cited by Malcolm X. The books are presented here in their original editions. Now, this is a 3-volume set. Now, if you go back and just Google 1900 nudes. Now, if you look at the forms of the people, it begins to change over time. When you look at them, and they used to have to wear the big clothes like this. They used to have to wear this stuff to cover up birth defects, right? And they used to kill a lot of babies for having imperfections, right? So they needed something called a healing factor. They needed a healing factor that they didn't have because they was defective because of how they was created in over there in Babylon. Now watch this. Now, a lot of people don't know about this, but right here, in Africa, see, you can look it up right here. A small portion of humans show partial or apparently completely inborn resistance to HIV, the virus that causes AIDS. The main mechanism is a mutation of the gene encoding right here. That's how to cure AIDS, people. That's right there. Whatever the mutation is, replicate it and you cure AIDS. Right there, they just told you what does it. Which acts as a co-receptor for HIV. It is estimated that the proportion of people with some form of resistance to HIV is under 1%. But the resistance, see, Nairobi women also have killer T cells. The children with built-in defense against AIDS. All this is Africans. Now, the reason they need it is this disease. The disease that he had that did this to him. I think it's called Huntington's disease. Huntington's Graves disease. And this literally comes from using your brain. Let's go to the description of it. Graves' disease is an autoimmune disease that leads to the generalized overactivity of the entire thyroid gland. That's not it. No, it's not that. That's not the right one. He got look him up on, but they'll tell you the name of it. Graves' disease is a different disease. When he was in college, he was on the row team, you know, and when he started using his brain, his neurons began to break his body down. He couldn't facilitate higher thought without physical side effects, and that was one of the birth defects they was creating over there. I'm trying to see if they got the name of his disease in here. Let me look up this. motor neuron disease and was given 2 years to live in 1963. Let's look that up. So this is why we had to give them. This leads to muscle weakness, often visible wasting. Motor neuron disease, also known as amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or ALS, occurs when specialist nerve cells in the brain and spinal cord motor neurons stop working properly. This is known as neurodegeneration. That means when your brain deteriorates. Neuro means brain, degeneration means waste away. And when you understand what they was up against, there's a movie. I think it's called Red October. Let's see. No, that's not it. It's a movie. No, I can't think of the name of it right now, but it's about this Irish kid who wanted to be a rocket scientist, and they kept telling him they didn't want him to do it. Everybody was scared that he was going to end up like Stephen Hawking because they didn't know if the healing factor would take. But those people that you call hillbillies, right? These people, these are people that fled the persecution and ended up getting stuck up in the hills of Tennessee and Kentucky, and they was trapped. This is why they learned how to be snipers. The first snipers were hillbillies, right? And they are Irish and Englishmen who ran up in the mountains, but they didn't have enough of the healing factor. That's why some of them looked like this over here. This is before they got their healing factor. Years later, they don't look like this. You know, years later, they don't look, aside from their teeth being bad, you wouldn't know them from anybody else that looked European. That's because they needed the healing factor to stop the. Then they also had something called hemophilia, which is a blood disease where the platelets don't coagulate. And the hemophilia was one of the things they needed the healing factor for, right? Because they was incessant bleeders. If they get cut, they'll bleed to death. That weak shit die. But we wake up stronger than all of the shit that preceded that because we absorbed the suffering at such a high degree. It allowed us to absorb and create strength in the pain. If you don't give the pain no goddamn meaning, it'll be meaningless. Then you suffered as a goddamn fool. You lived your life as a fool and you allowed your ancestors to suffer and die as a fool. But the answer to the question is in the pain and the suffering. Why would an all-wise, right and exact, righteous God allow the all-wise, right and exact, righteous seed to suffer? Because it will not put nothing more on you than you can bear. You endure the most suffering because you can endure the most suffering. The most suffering is required in order to build the most strength to overcome the greatest obstacle. We had to do it together. Whether we liked it or didn't like it was irrelevant to the point, because none of us wasn't gonna like it. Now remember, somebody have to make sure that all this shit play out, because it's all written in the history of the black, the noon. If you know your history, you'll know exactly what's going on. And you won't have personal vendettas as you begin to receive your inheritance of heaven on earth. We took to suffering in order to overthrow a superior force. It's guerrilla warfare at its finest, used at the highest level of spiritual conquest. Platinum-backed motherfucking guerrilla shit. This your history. So when you want to tell your children some empowering shit, that shit that's in them that's about to wake up is fucking over anything you ever seen before you. Einstein is a baby in intelligence compared to this, what these children are about to be right in your fucking face. Tell them the truth. Black history is the history of that shit they call dark matter, the noon, that is expressed in your melanin, which is the 666 molecule. We are the fucking beasts. We the goddamn baddest in the goddamn field. Beasts from the motherfucking east, the best from the motherfucking west. North and south. We put this shit together. You cannot defeat the spirit of the earth spirit on earth. These women ain't gonna let you. They the original guardian angel, these African women that joined with all of these other tribal leaders of these other clans. On this physical shit, y'all got all this shit that they put in you to keep you oppressed. Prejudices and hatreds and shit. Soon as you understand who over you, then you will understand why you under them. Then that's when this shit get turned, flipped upside down, turned back around, right side up. Black history. Know yourself. All that is in this universe is in you. The love that lights up the soul in you is that star that's trapped. Free that motherfucker. Be intelligent and creative. Be motherfucking wise and ruthless. But be fair. Because that's the only way to keep that shit balanced. So you say the white man is the enemy in Black History Month. Let's understand what we really saying. You saying that a baby on the stage of human development has the ability to subjugate an old soul like ours. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you serious? You serious? Them motherfuckers couldn't even read and write back then. You don't even know that they had motherfucking scribes that they called Moors writing their letters for them. Y'all don't even know. They was illiterate. But they've been holding you hostage and in servitude. Are you fucking serious? Learn your history. Know yourself. You can't be deceived. So when they tried to keep it from us, we flipped that shit out in the open because one of us from the earth spirit was going to wake up and say enough is a goddamn enough. So I woke up and said enough is a goddamn enough. Tell the children how to get free. Set the captives free with right motherfucking knowledge. Some shit that's all wise, right, and exact that give them motherfucking flavor. They didn't, look, the greatest motherfucking electrical inventor of the early 20th century was Granville T. Woods. Most patents on motherfucking file. They couldn't get the atomic bomb to work without Lloyd Quarterman. He looked like this. He had a team of his scientists look like this. They wasn't allowed to work with the so-called white scientists. But they couldn't get it in from a Einsteinian formula of splitting the atom into a working machine without Lloyd Quarterman. Pay attention now. He looked like this. The cell phone, a motherfucker looked like this. The internet is based off the internet of the woman, the hive. HTTP, Hotep, motherfucker. www, World Wide Web, or World Wide Women. Y'all motherfuckers ain't paying attention. They talking right over your head. This Black history, this is all wise, right, and exact. Wake the fuck up. They can't oppress you if you just wake up. When you wake up, you automatically know how not to be oppressed. And they automatically know that you 5/5 realize and you not 3/5 compromise. They automatically know to give you your shit. That's it. It's just that simple. But if you don't wake up, and understand this black history, this miseducation of the Negro, and take it from miseducation to education, then you stuck. Chancellor Williams said it was the destruction of a black civilization. You know? The other elders say they stole it. You must return it. Who the fuck was they talking to? I didn't see nobody else doing nothing. So I went in there and got that shit. And returned it. Asked them queens. I gave them their shit back. Because that's the only way to set this shit right. Spirit of the earth spirits move together. Kings don't like to see queens oppressed. But the queens can move in a way that the king can't. See? But when you put the two together, you got a force to be reckoned with. But now we're talking about multi-dimensional chess played within the infinite mind of the great mother. Not the father. Because the father don't come forth until Ray or the sun shine in the darkness. That's after the fact. After the fact. Because the uterus is already there. So you had a spark, the sperm, the spermatozoa, exploding as a star in the great uterus, in the primordial abyss. If you don't reverence the womb, you won't reverence the soul. Because you need mitochondria that you can only get from the woman, who can only get it from deriving it from the great mother through the uterus. It's just that simple. And when a woman turn that shit on and the motherfucker ain't right, he gonna be self-destruct. But he can't have no malice in his heart if he want to survive that shit, because he gonna be to tow everything up. But you know, you gotta know your history. You gotta know what you are. You stronger than you think you is, or else your people wouldn't have been able to withstand all this oppression. Now, to take it another step deeper, we literally fought. We literally fought to be oppressed. We marched to be subjugated. We had them legislate our oppression into law called civil rights. Go back. Go check Martin out when he found out what he did. He said, I integrated my people into a burning house. It's a good thing he said that, because the earth spirit gonna always have a fucking contingency. So when the house started burning, we had set exits up everywhere so our people can escape that motherfucker. All we gotta do is understand that we are now, it's been legislated in D.C., it's been lobbied on and settled in the United Nations. Indigenous rights is supreme law of the land. We have courts already set up, the indigenous courts all over the country. Our structure is already in place. As soon as y'all stop trying to file your nationality card, resurrecting that dead-ass contract that's expired on July the 4th last year, chasing your straw man in their court system, go to your shit. Find the indigenous courts. Look up the indigenous judges. And go to your own people and stop kissing this motherfucking shit ass that don't exist no more. You keeping this shit alive. It's over with. They already gonna give up the fucking horse as soon as y'all wake the fuck up. We have to realize what's taking place. So this your black history. I'm telling you your history. We was already fucking here. It was a war. Conquistadors, Spaniards, Moors brought that shit over here. The conquering Tudors in English, conquistadors. The Tudors is those royal families that got kicked the fuck out of Spain and motherfucking Cordoba and Italy, in Rome. They got kicked the fuck out. They had to go somewhere. They came over here and brought that shit to our house. So while they was settling they fucking debts, go back and read David Walker's appeal, and you understand it was more of us look like this, walk this land free than you could possibly imagine. The motherfuckers that was in slavery didn't look like this. The ones that was holding the slaves looked like this. Go back. It was all covered up. So they say that the victor writes history. What version of history is the victor going to write? The one that serves him best. What version serves the victor in our case? To allow you the illusion that you won, while the victor pluck you dry with inflation eating away at your bottom dollar. So you think because your job say $30 an hour that you have a $30 an hour purchasing power, but you don't. Because every time the inflation go up, you lose power on that dollar. They stealing your wages by deception. This Black history, this is how we look at shit for what it the fuck is. We already got a structure in place. Soon as we stop fucking with these motherfucking 9 Article 3